I don't think anyone cares if it's socialist, capitalist. This is a very unique area. We're not talking about milk. We're not talking about grains.
Arthur, that literally the Democratic Party has been campaigning on this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been decades. I mean, honestly, decades. Medicaid and allowing Medicaid to negotiate drug prices, bringing down the price of insulin. In fact, they actually legislated some of that in 2022. And Mitch McConnell literally called it socialism.
So should we criticize someone who came around to a good idea? I don't think so.
Yes, we should. Yes, we should. We should kick them out of the country. We should exile these people. We should send them on an island and allow them to starve. All right, let's go ahead and watch this CNN debate here.
Who came around?
Capitalism or socialism, it's getting harder to tell when it comes to Donald Trump's America because the president keeps making moves that have the government's hand firmly.
Okay, that was weird. All right, let's try again.
Capitalism or socialism, it's getting harder to tell when it comes to Donald Trump's America because the president keeps making moves that have the government's hand firmly involved in a number of business dealings. The most recent is Trump just cut a deal with Pfizer to lower prescription drug prices. Pfizer will then sell the discounted medications directly to Americans on Trump's forthcoming website. You guessed it, Trump RX. Now, Democrats have for years tried to curb.
Ty the detailer, you said, am I shedding tears? Inside I am, but for some reason, as soon as I hit record, my allergies just started messing up. So like, you know, when you get that feeling inside your brain, your face, like I'm feeling that. So I'm trying not to sneeze and sniffle. But yeah, it's really messing me up right now.
Out of control drug costs. But with each legislative push, Republicans have screamed the S word.
Obamacare is a placeholder for Bernie Care. Bernie Care is socialism full born.
So far, prescription drug socialism is not working out too well.
Under what he wants to do, which will basically be socialized medicine.
At the end of the day, this is the only process left available to stop a march towards socialism.
Joining us at the table is CNN global economic analyst Rana Foroohar. Rana, this has been, I think, a topic of discussion because there are so many ways in which Trump has been screaming socialism and communism, and yet he wants to manage this entire economy by himself.
Yeah.
Putting his hand in literally everything, offering tariffs and then discounts on the tariffs and then giving rebate checks to people and then taking shares in private companies and so on and so forth. How do you see this?
So I would say there's a lot of state capitalism going on here. And by that I mean, it's kind of what China does. It's capitalism. There are markets and people are certainly making profits, but you have the state coming into sectors when it's considered to be of strategic interest. You have the state in some cases censuring individual CEOs, disappearing CEOs in the case of China. Here, not that. But I think that in some ways what both Donald Trump and certain candidates, I will say not candidates, but politicians on the left are doing is really responding to a populist sentiment. And I think that that's the connective tissue here. We are in a very populist moment. The rule books of both parties, I think, are being thrown out, and politicians are looking to do whatever resonates with the hot button topics in the population at the time.
I read last week that Trump was threatening to impose a huge tariff on foreign patented drugs, which many Americans depend on. And that it was supposed to go into effect October 1st. Did that happen?
So it's interesting. With the Trump RX plan, Pfizer, which would potentially be open to those tariffs, is supposedly getting an exemption in order to participate in this plan. So tariffs, and this is a great example of state capitalism, tariffs are being used as a tool, as a cudgel, as a sort of a carrot and a stick for companies as and when. And you never know when the rules are going to change. It could be one thing today, the next thing tomorrow. But this is about holding individual CEOs, individual companies, individual industries in some cases to heal.
Well, good luck to him. If he puts a 100% tariff on Ozempic, we're all going to get fat again.
And everybody is operating. Everybody's operating at the whim of Donald Trump. I mean, but it was not even just a little more than a year ago when Kamala Harris was campaigning on combating price gouging at grocery prices. This is what Donald Trump said in response to that.
Comrade Kamala announced that she wants to institute socialist price controls. You saw that. Never worked before, never ever worked. This is communist, this is Marxist, this is fascist.
I mean, look, if you're a Democrat, you're probably saying, you know what? Yeah, he should be negotiating drug prices. They've been asking for that for many, many years. And every time Republicans called it socialism. So now it's not socialism because Trump's.
Now, let's play a game, okay? Let's try to figure out what these Republican people at this table is now going to say about Trump reacting socialism when it comes to controlling drug prices. Once again, remind you, here's a hint. This is a party of hypocrisy. Like, if you look in the dictionary of hypocrisy, is going to tell you, please refer to the Republican Party. Okay, there's a hint. So let's take a listen on their excuse. Their entire being has been demonizing socialist programs, communist programs, saying that it's never going to work, saying that it's going to kill people, saying it's going to kidnap your kids and trans all your kids. Like, this has been their talking point from day one. Now let's see how they switched all this up.
Years. And every time Republicans called it socialism. So now it's not socialism because Trump's doing it?
Well, forget about if you're a Democrat. If you're someone who needs these drugs, right, I think you're happy to hear this. Whether it's socialist, capitalist, these drug prices are out of control. A very close friend of the family called us the other day and said, the government just gives me, or my insurance gives me, he's diabetic, type 1 diabetic, the absolute a perfect amount of insulin that I need. Can you help me get some more insulin? So if this is going to put this kid in a better position to get insulin for him at a lower price, I don't think anyone cares if it's socialist, capitalist. This is a very unique area. We're not talking about.
I want to say right now I'm not, I don't want to say I'm not in a good mood, but I'm not in a good mood in hearing these idiots say, you know what, I don't care if it's socialism, capitalism, or whatever, we need to help these people. We have been saying that. Who is this guy? Can somebody please tell this idiot there has been people in this country that has been promoting that for decades now? Where have you been? This guy looks like a thumb. Why does he look like a thumb with a face? And it's like why? But of course, man, I swear I could never talk to these people.
I don't think anyone cares if it's socialist, capitalist. This is a very unique area. We're not talking about milk. We're not talking about grains.
Arthur, that literally the Democratic Party has been campaigning on this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been decades. I mean, honestly, decades. Medicaid and allowing Medicaid to negotiate drug prices, bringing down the price of insulin. In fact, they actually legislated some of that in 2022. And Mitch McConnell literally called it socialism.
So should we criticize someone who came around with a good idea?
Just saying
I don't think so.
Yes, we should. Yes, we should. We should kick them out of the country. We should exile these people. We should send them on an island and allow them to starve. I don't understand if this is such an importance to people that all of a sudden this idiot right here is starting to understand. We could have maybe had this 2 years ago, 5 years ago, hell, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But no, the Republican Party on purpose, not like they really believed that socialism is evil. They don't believe that. They know that it's the exact opposite. They know this, but they were too busy playing politics. So now he's like, well, what are we supposed to do? Like, get mad at the people that's been putting obstacles and hurdles in front of American people? How many people do you think have died because they couldn't afford their medicine? How many people had to lose their house or their car note or whatever the case is? They couldn't pay their bills because they had to pay for their medical. But now he's like, I mean, you know, like, what are we supposed to do? Man, I swear to you, I promise you, with every fiber of my being, okay, if you ever see me on one of these shows, I need you to call me out. I promise you, it is not going to be a pretty sight. We better be talking about like vacation or something. It better be like a very lighthearted conversation, because I swear if I ever have to talk to these individuals here, it is not going to be a good day. I am not that kind of guy. I'm not going to pretend as if I respect you because we're on national TV. No, this guy needs to get embarrassed in front of millions of people for this talking point, for this excuse. Oh, what are we supposed to do now? No, I know what we need to do. We need to shame you guys out of this country. But okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the rant. Once again, I told you my allergies are, you know, and when my allergies start and then I don't feel comfortable, you see what I'm saying? And I start going through some things. So, but let's hear his excuse again.
To negotiate drug prices, bringing down the price of insulin. In fact, they actually legislated some of that in 2022, and Mitch McConnell literally called it socialism.
So should we criticize someone who came around to with a good idea?
Just saying
I don't think so. I think it's great. I think I wish the government. I wish more people in government were like, you know what? I campaigned on this, but now that I'm thinking about it, that's actually a good idea.
That's not what they're saying. They're just pretending like it never happened.
But let's also be clear about what Trump's doing. He's not setting a price control for a drug. He's using the stick.
Yes, he is.
He's using the stick, the tariff.
He's
using the stick, the tariff.
Here's why he's setting a price control.
He's not.
Because he is saying to Pfizer, you cannot sell drugs for more money in the United States than you do in Europe. Now, again, Democrats have been saying that for a long time. Okay, but Trump is saying that Pfizer cannot sell essentially drugs for more than they sell it for in Europe. How is that not a price control?
Let me finish. Trump is using the stick, the tariff, and on the opposite end, the carrot is that the government is the biggest purchaser, the biggest consumer of pharmaceuticals.
Oh my God, shut up. First off, okay, I was going to say something about beating this guy with a stick, but I don't want to be that graphic. But this guy seems like he's talking about carrots, and I guarantee you this guy doesn't even eat carrots, okay? He needs to. So maybe he needs to stop talking about a stick and a carrot. This guy needs to get off TV and eat some carrots. I'm just saying. Like, shut up. I don't want to hear your excuse. It's not really price control, but what he's kind of doing is like slightly, like, shut up. Shut up. You idiot, you hateful idiot. Anyone sitting here playing politics with people's livelihood and now got the audacity to sit here and be like, I mean, he's not really doing socialist because, you know, he's not really doing price controls. He's just kind of doing price controls. Like, man, there is a God. There is a God. And you know how I know this? Because he is keeping me away from these people here. That's how you know. Don't play with me. I am not going to ever entertain these idiotic conversations. Yeah.
Is that the government is the biggest purchaser, the biggest consumer of pharmaceuticals through all of the various government health plans. She's shaking her head. Yes, because I'm right. Well, he's using his position as the largest consumer. That's different from, say, Zohran Mamdani, who
the whole point of what I'm trying to tell you is that Democrats literally, that was a campaign slogan in 2016 and in 2020 to allow the government as the largest purchaser of drugs to use their leverage in the marketplace to negotiate those prices. Now, sure, Trump is doing that, but Trump and his allies used to call that a year ago today socialism.
Yeah, no, it's
you pointed out Kamala. I never got to finish my first point, so just let me finish.
Evangelion, you say, why are you airing? Because once again, you got to understand, guys, you have to understand. CNN, places like Fox News, places like Pierce Morgan, they get millions upon millions upon millions of views. This is what people are watching. This is what people actually listen to and conform their opinions around. This is what they're watching. It's not like this video has like 500 views in the past 3 months. People are consuming this type of information. This is America right here in a nutshell. A bunch of idiots. So it's like, what are we supposed to do then? We have to be in the trenches. We can't be always listening to Sam Cedar and Mehdi Hassan, like, because we know they're going to say what we believe and what we understand, of course. But we got to get into the weeds. We got to get into the dirt. And unfortunately, it's idiotic conversations like this. It's a million and one of these types of people right here. So that's what we have to deal with. And that's why I hate politics. Because this right here, this is politics all day, baby. This is politics right here. A bunch of dumbness. And we just have to deal with it. Not everybody's a Mehdi Hassan. Not everybody's a Sam Cedar. Like, no. This is the majority of America right here.
That is different from what Zoran Mamdani is saying about rent freezes, right? Mamdani is saying, I'm going to appoint a board in New York City to regulate the price of rent. That is socialism.
I didn't compare that to Mamdani. I don't think those are the same thing.
The truth of the matter is, there's just like there's lots of different kinds of capitalism, there are actually lots of different kinds of socialism too. There's hard Soviet-style socialism where you don't have private property. Believe me, Donald Trump's not going to go for that. There's social democratic style governments that most of Europe has, where there's a social safety net. Again, actually, it's ironic because we're having a budget shutdown in part because there's no compromise around pulling of benefits, healthcare benefits for poor people. You know, in Europe with democratic socialism, that's not something that they have to worry about. So I think the names and the definitions here are less important than the fact that guess what's going to cause a lot of inflation next year? Healthcare. And this is both parties, I think, are looking to this issue. We've just seen a big survey of major companies saying that they're expecting premiums to go up by 10%. Labor organizations are saying it's going to be more. This is populism. This is Donald Trump trying to get out ahead of that and hopefully say, look what I did, and then score some points.
The timing of this Pfizer presser coming at the same time that we're in a shutdown because of ACA benefits being cut is not coincidental.
Something tells me that this prescription drug thing is not going to counteract people seeing premium increases that are 50%, 75% more than they were paying before. I mean, this is thousands of dollars that people are going to be shelling out on a monthly basis.
Yeah, it's not only thousands of dollars that they're going to be shelling out on health care, but overall costs are going up, and the economy is not in a great place right now either. And so when Donald Trump has promised to bring down costs, there hasn't been one thing that he has done in his 9 months of being in office that will actually do that. People haven't felt it yet. And so I find it interesting that he wouldn't jump to the opportunity to work with Democrats to try to bring down healthcare costs, because at least he can come next November, he can say, listen, guys, I did this, and take a victory lap.
I will say, though, when you listen to Leader Thune over in the Senate, it sounds like they're aware that they're going to have to deal with this at some point.
100%.
Right? Because
it's going to be a huge issue by next
problem.
Year. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And, one thing I will say.
Let's see. So you're saying that a bunch of old people watch CNN. Well, one, CNN does air on TV. So does that research distinguish between TV and places like YouTube. I mean, I think that would be important because I don't think a lot of old folks are watching on YouTube. Like they barely, probably functioning Discord or something. And then 2, old people vote too. And if you look at the Democratic Party, most of our voters are older people. So we got to educate them too. So that doesn't really mean anything.
I do find kind of encouraging, although again, it's something that they wouldn't cop to around, say, the semiconductor industry. When you create a demand signal, when you use the purchasing power of government to harness a demand signal, Biden tried to do it quite a lot. Other Democrats have tried. That's a good thing. It does bring down prices, and it would be wonderful if Republicans would embrace that idea.
And once again, and I made a video just for my members a few days ago. I don't care what Trump is deciding to do when it comes to this whole Trump medical website where people can buy their medical needs. Like, I don't care about that. I know 9 times out of 10, 99.9% out of 10, I know is going to benefit him more than it's going to benefit the regular average American. That is who Trump is. We've been hearing Trump. We've been seeing Trump long enough for the past, 10 years. We know how he moves. He's not going to all of a sudden have a change of heart and be like, you know what? I want to bring down the prices of drugs because I'm a great guy. No, he's not doing that. And I guarantee it. I'm sorry. So I'm not buying it. Not even a little bit.
Let's see how you do under pressure. Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra. Fuck with me, you know that